Today, we're uncovering 12 terrifying Halloween legends, chilling tales that still haunt the United States. Number 1. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. In the quiet Hudson Valley of New York lies Sleepy Hollow, a place where mist lingers on autumn nights and legends come alive. Washington Irving's famous 1820 tale gave the world the Headless Horseman, a figure said to be the ghost of a Hessian soldier who lost his head to a cannonball during the Revolutionary War. Locals whispered that he still rode the countryside after dark, carrying a jack-o'-lantern in place of his missing head. The story follows Ichabod Crane, the lanky schoolteacher of Sleepy Hollow, who was both fascinated by and terrified of ghostly tales. One October evening, he attended a harvest gathering at the Van Tassel farm, where he heard fresh retellings of the horseman's terrifying rides. As the night wore on, Ichabod mounted his horse to head home through the woods, the air thick with shadows and strange noises. As he passed the old church bridge, Ichabod noticed a cloaked rider appear in the fog behind him. His blood ran cold when he realized the rider's shoulders bore no head, only a burning pumpkin tucked under one arm. Desperate, Ichabod pushed his horse forward, hoping to cross the bridge where, according to rumor, spirits could not follow. But the rider raised his pumpkin high and hurled it with violent force. The next morning, Ichabod's hat and a shattered gourd were found, but the teacher was gone without a trace. Some said he fled in fear, while others swore the Headless Horseman carried him off that night. Each Halloween, Sleepy Hollow retells this chilling legend, reminding us that sometimes the scariest figures are those who ride straight out of history into our imaginations. Number 2. Poisoned Halloween treats. Trick-or-treating is one of Halloween's most joyful traditions, but starting in the mid-20th century, it became linked to one of the holiday's darkest legends. Rumors spread that strangers were tampering with candy, slipping razor blades into apples, or lacing chocolates with poison. Though almost no confirmed cases were ever found, the fear spread quickly and became one of the most chilling parts of Halloween. The story often described a child biting into a shiny apple, only to find sharp metal inside. Newspapers fueled the panic, and police warned parents to be cautious. By the 1970s and 80s, the legend had grown so strong that hospitals offered free x-rays of Halloween candy, and families began avoiding homemade or unwrapped treats altogether. The legend struck deep because it turned a night of trust into one of suspicion. Halloween was supposed to bring neighbors together, yet the idea that danger could be hidden in something as innocent as a piece of candy changed the holiday forever. Parents began checking every sweet before letting children enjoy them, and the legend of razor apples lived on, even with little proof behind it. Even today, the warning resurfaces every October. News outlets remind parents to inspect candy bags, and communities pass down the same cautionary tales. The fear itself has become part of the tradition, showing how Halloween is not only haunted by ghosts and monsters, but also by stories that prey on our imagination and our instinct to protect children. Number 3. Bloody Mary. At Halloween, sleepovers across the country, children still dare each other to try one of America's most famous rituals, summoning Bloody Mary. The legend claims that if you stand before a mirror in a darkened room and chant her name 3 times, her ghost will appear. Some say she will scratch your face, others that she will show your future, and some whisper that she can pull you into the mirror itself. The story's origins are murky. Some connect her to Queen Mary Tudor of England, remembered for the bloodshed of her reign, while others believe she was a woman who died tragically and whose spirit became trapped in glass. By the 20th century, the legend had firmly taken hold among American children, becoming especially popular around Halloween, when the air was already filled with superstition and fear. Those who dare to call her name tell of pale faces materializing in the glass, eyes glowing faintly, or a bloody figure appearing just beyond the reflection. Others speak of strange sounds, the sudden flicker of a candle, or the feeling of being touched by invisible hands. Whether these experiences are real or born of imagination, they are powerful enough to keep the ritual alive. Today, Bloody Mary is less about proving the legend true and more about testing courage. On Halloween night, when the veil between the living and the dead feels thinnest, children and teenagers still gather to whisper her name, their voices trembling in the dark. Number 4. Halloween vampire sightings. While vampires belong more to European folklore, stories of blood-drinking figures found their way to America and became tied to Halloween. In the 19th century, New England experienced a vampire panic when families dug up graves, fearing the dead were rising to spread disease. Cases like Mercy Brown in Rhode Island captured attention, but by the 20th century, these fears evolved into Halloween night tales of shadowy figures with glowing eyes stalking quiet streets. Children whispered about vampires appearing at parties or prowling cemeteries on Halloween, the one night the dead were said to walk among the living. Some claimed to see cloaked figures watching from the edges of small-town graveyards, while others spoke of bats circling houses lit only by jack-o'-lanterns. Whether real or imagined, the stories made Halloween feel more dangerous and thrilling. Hollywood films added fuel to the fire. Movies like Dracula made the vampire a household name, and Halloween became the time when sightings surged. Trick-or-treaters described being followed by strangers in dark cloaks, only to later learn no such person could be found. Every October, police departments even received scattered calls about vampire attacks, though none were ever confirmed. The legends live on because they touch a deep fear, the thought of something hungry lurking in the dark. Each Halloween, tales of vampire sightings resurface, told around campfires and at sleepovers, reminding us that the line between costumes and creatures can feel very thin when the autumn night grows long. Number 5. The Hook. Few Halloween tales have spread as widely as the story of the Hook. It began appearing in the 1950s, whispered among teenagers as a cautionary tale. The story tells of 2 young lovers parked at a quiet spot on Halloween night when a radio warning announces that a dangerous criminal with a hook for a hand has escaped nearby. Nervous, the couple decides to leave, only to find a bloody hook dangling from the car door handle. This legend captured attention because it mixed romance, danger, and fear, all tied to the thrill of Halloween. Parents used it to warn their children about the risks of staying out too late, while teenagers repeated it at parties as a test of courage. The image of the hook scraping against the car became one of the most iconic symbols of urban legend storytelling. Different versions spread quickly. In some, the couple actually sees the figure in the shadows. In others, they drive off in terror, narrowly escaping his grasp. The consistency was always the chilling end. The hook left behind, proof that the danger was real and closer than anyone realized. Though no true crime ever matched the tale, the hook has endured for decades, retold each Halloween as if it happened in the next town over. It thrives because it feels believable, a monster not from myth, but from the dark corners of human imagination. On Halloween, when fear is meant to walk hand in hand with fun, the hook reminds us that some stories are scarier because they could almost be true. Number 6. Stingy Jack and the Jack-o'-lantern. Long before pumpkins lit American porches, Irish immigrants told the tale of Stingy Jack, a man so sly he even tricked the devil himself. One version says Jack invited the devil for a drink but refused to pay, convincing him to turn into a coin. When the devil did, Jack slipped the coin into his pocket beside a cross, trapping him. Jack eventually freed the devil only after making him promise not to take his soul to hell. Years later, Jack died, but his tricks caught up with him. Heaven turned him away for his wicked life, and hell could not accept him because of the bargain he had struck. Banished from both, Jack was left to wander the dark earth for eternity. To light his endless journey, he carried a carved-out turnip with a glowing ember given to him by the devil himself. From then on, he became known as Jack of the Lantern, or Jack-o'-lantern. When Irish immigrants arrived in America, they brought Jack's eerie story with them. Finding pumpkins more plentiful than turnips, they began carving faces into them and placing candles inside. These glowing lanterns were set out on Halloween to scare away wandering spirits, especially Jack's restless soul. The custom quickly grew into one of the most recognizable traditions of the holiday. Today, the jack-o'-lantern is more than decoration. It is a reminder of the tale behind it. Every smiling, snarling, or spooky pumpkin pays tribute to Stingy Jack's fate. Families may not always recall his name, but his story flickers in every carved light on porches each October. Number 7. New England witches. When people think of witches in America, Salem almost always comes to mind. In 1692, fear and superstition swept through the Massachusetts town, leading to the infamous witch trials. Neighbors accused neighbors, and before the panic ended, 20 people were executed. Though centuries have passed, the word Salem still echoes with stories of witches, and every Halloween, the town is remembered as a place where suspicion and fear became deadly. Out of these trials grew legends of restless spirits, said to return each Halloween. Some tell of women accused of witchcraft, who haunt the old gallows hill, their whispers carried on the autumn wind. Others believe that shadows wander through old cemeteries and historic houses, searching for justice after lives cut short. These tales gave Salem a ghostly reputation, especially in October. As time passed, the figure of the witch changed. No longer just a victim of the trials, she became a symbol of mystery, magic, and Halloween itself. Costumes, decorations, and stories all drew on the image of the Salem witch, a woman in black robes and pointed hat, with powers tied to the night. What began as tragedy grew into one of Halloween's most enduring icons. Today, Salem celebrates what once destroyed it. Festivals, haunted tours, and reenactments draw thousands every October, all eager to connect with the legends of witches past. The town itself has become a living story, where history and folklore blend. On Halloween night, the memory of Salem's witches reminds us how fear can shape legends, and how those legends can last for centuries. Number 8. Halloween ghost sightings. Halloween has always been tied to the idea that the veil between the living and the dead grows thin. For centuries, people have told of strange, ghostly figures that appear only on October 31st. Across the United States, stories surface of mysterious apparitions wandering cemeteries, old houses, or lonely roads, returning for just one night before fading with the dawn. Some of the most chilling tales come from small towns where locals swear that the same spirits appear year after year on Halloween. A soldier might march across a battlefield, seen only on this night, or a woman in white may drift across a graveyard before vanishing. These encounters don't always bring harm. Often they serve as reminders of lives once lived and stories long forgotten. Part of what makes these sightings so powerful is their timing. In autumn, with leaves falling and the nights growing colder, it feels natural to believe that spirits might return. Families gather around fires or in dark rooms to share ghost stories, and often the tales involve someone's uncle, neighbor, or friend who swears they saw a ghost on Halloween night. The stories become stronger because they feel close to home. Even now, people claim to witness strange lights, hear unexplained voices, or see figures they cannot explain on October 31st. Whether real or imagined, Halloween ghost sightings have become a tradition of their own. They remind us why the holiday exists, to honor the mysteries of life and death, and to share the thrill of the unknown when the night grows darkest. Number 9. Ghost lights. For generations, travelers have told of eerie lights appearing in the distance, leading them away from safe paths. Known as will-o'-the-wisps or ghost lights, these glowing orbs are said to dance across swamps, fields, and lonely roads. In America, they became linked to Halloween, the one night when people expected to see the strange and unexplainable. Legends often describe the lights as blue, green, or white, floating just above the ground. When followed, they seem to move further away, luring the traveler deeper into the dark. In some traditions, they are thought to be lost souls, cursed to wander forever. In others, they are mischievous spirits who delight in confusing those who cross their path. Stories of ghost lights spread across the country, from the mysterious spook lights of Missouri and Oklahoma to glowing orbs reported in New England marshes. Americans grew up hearing of these glowing mysteries. Scientists suggest gases or reflections may cause them, but for those who see them on Halloween night, they feel far more supernatural. Even today, ghost tours and Halloween storytellers speak of will-o'-the-wisps as warnings. They remind us that curiosity can be dangerous, and that not every light in the dark should be trusted. On October nights, when pumpkins glow and the air is filled with whispers of the past. The ghost lights remain one of the most haunting symbols of Halloween, a trick of nature, or perhaps a spirit's final game. Number 10. Ozark Haint Witches. In the hills of Arkansas and Missouri, old families told chilling stories of haint witches. These weren't the playful broomstick witches of Halloween cards, but dangerous figures said to steal milk, sicken livestock, or place curses on entire households. In the isolated Ozark Mountains, where neighbors lived far apart and medicine was scarce, a strange illness or misfortune often found an explanation in whispers of a witch's spell. On Halloween night, when spirits were believed to wander freely, fear of the haint witches grew stronger. Families would hang charms, iron horseshoes, or Bible verses near doors to ward them off. Children were warned to come inside early, for the witches were said to fly through the valleys disguised as owls or balls of fire. Some of the stories describe brave witch masters, men or women said to fight back against haints. They claimed to break spells, heal sick cattle, or turn a curse back on the witch who cast it. These tales kept alive the idea that witches were not invincible, yet still dangerous enough to make the hair rise on one's neck when October winds blew. Today, folklorists record these stories as part of Ozark heritage. Though told less often than in the past, they resurface every Halloween, reminding locals of nights when superstition ruled, and neighbors whispered about shadows that might not be just shadows. The haint witches remain one of the most haunting reminders of how fear and folklore shaped life in the American backwoods. Number 11. Halloween werewolf sightings. Though werewolves are rooted in European legend, the idea of humans turning into wolves under the full moon found its way into American Halloween lore. As the holiday grew in the 19th and 20th centuries, stories spread of strange howls in the night and clawed tracks appearing in small towns after October's first frost. Some claimed these were wolves from the wild. Others swore they were neighbors cursed to change form when the veil between worlds was thin. In parts of the Midwest, farmers told of livestock mauled on Halloween, with tracks too large for any natural animal. In New England, tales of men with glowing eyes wandering the woods became a staple of late-night storytelling. Halloween became the perfect night to share these fears, as the season's long shadows and harvest moon made the impossible seem real. Hollywood added fuel to the fire. Movies like The Wolfman in the 1940s cemented the werewolf as a Halloween monster. Children wore wolf masks on trick-or-treat rounds, while parents warned about staying out too late in the woods. Soon, werewolf sightings in October became part of America's Halloween culture, half thrill, half cautionary tale. Even now, stories of werewolves are retold at Halloween bonfires and haunted houses. Whether believed as real creatures or enjoyed as chilling fiction, they keep alive an ancient fear that something human can become something wild, and that, on Halloween night, the howls in the dark might not come from just wolves. Number 12. The Morrigan. Long before Halloween came to America, it began in Celtic lands as Samhain, a festival marking the end of harvest and the start of winter. Among the spirits linked to this night was the Morrigan, a dark goddess often seen as a witch or shapeshifter. Legends describe her appearing as a crow, hovering over battlefields, or walking as a mysterious woman who could predict death. Her presence made Samhain a night of both reverence and fear. Irish immigrants carried fragments of these stories to the United States, where they blended with other Halloween traditions. The Morrigan became tied to the idea of witches roaming on October 31st, warning of danger or bringing misfortune to those who crossed her path. Though few Americans knew her name, the image of a dark woman with crow-like powers crept into the larger tapestry of Halloween lore. Some tales describe her as a protector of the dead, guiding souls through the night when the veil was thin. Others say she laughed at mortals, delighting in their fear. Either way, the Morrigan's legend reinforced the belief that Halloween was not just a holiday, but a time when ancient powers returned to walk among the living. Today, her story is remembered in folklore books, Halloween festivals, and even modern witchcraft traditions. She represents the deep roots of Halloween, a reminder that behind costumes and candy lies an ancient night when gods, ghosts, and witches blurred together, and the Morrigan's shadow loomed over it all. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.